took a very Pink Floyd-ish style and twisted it around, mixed it with other styles such as from the Eagles, Moody Blues, Electric Light, and many other of these bands that I love, and kind of just mashed it together. And it took me a while. This album took me 3 to 4 years to make, and most of that time was finding that sound and making different snippets of songs to give it a try and try to find that sound that I liked.
Mm-hmm. Well, it paid off because you've definitely established your own sound there, and I see some serious potential where you can expand upon it and develop it and still have a commercially viable sound there. John Bon Jovial, this is our technical guy, Brody. He's going to tell you first off that he hates auto-tune. Just go with it.
Oh.
And, John, what you got for us today?
Well,
I do too.
Auto-tune is just the scourge of any music. But don't get me started. Brody, I tell you what, I'm with David. I do like your sound. It's got a nice commercial, yet at the same time, an original and gritty sound to it that might even be played on something other than what we would have back in the day considered top 40. So it's pretty cool that you've been able to accomplish that. And since you did all of the instrumentation yourself on Summer Red, I'm kind of curious as to what you think. What is your default instrument? What is the one that your brain leans toward the most?
I think the instrument that my brain leans towards the most is definitely the guitar. I've been playing it since about 6 years old, somewhere around there. And, it wasn't serious. I kind of picked it up, dropped it off, picked it up, dropped it off again and again until about 4 years ago is when I started taking it serious. But I basically had all the groundwork known, all the chord structures and everything really you needed to know to play the guitar. And so, yeah, definitely guitar is my main instrument.
Well, you do a nice job with it. You do. Now, in your off time, your off hours, when you're not in the studio, do you prefer going acoustic when you're just by yourself, or do you still want to, hit the electric end of it and try to, even when you're by yourself, just be a little on the edgy side?
I think it's fun either way. It's really cool going acoustic because you can just pick it up and just start playing it right there and not need to plug anything in. But there's times where I'll put on a backing track and just blare it and plug everything in and just start shredding. And, that has its fun in it. And I do think it's more fun than acoustic, but like I said, with the availability of just picking it up and playing, it's hard to choose one over the other.
And that's a good thing, I think. It keeps you versatile. It keeps you looking at it from both sides as well. I personally, for some reason, I've always been an organ man. When you can work organ into rock pop music, I've always loved it since I was a little kid. And I love the way that you wove the organ fill in there and made it fill, but at the same time made it stand out on its own. I like that. Since you're in Florida, I should mention that John Bon Jovial is on the other coast. He's over in the Naples-Fort Myers area. So if you're ever over in that area, by all means, let us know. Let him know. Are you doing any touring, any play dates?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm live every Monday and Fridays at this restaurant called Aunt Catfish. It's in Port Orange, but I mainly do cover songs until I get a full band, and then I'll start doing tours and going to like bars and actual places where people come to just listen to music. But right now it's just little restaurants here and there.
Sure.
And yeah.
Sure. No, I understand completely, and you're developing your own sound as you go along, and that's a good thing. And we appreciate you coming in and sharing your time with us here today. Before we let you go, we've talked about how they can get in touch with you. Are you on social media besides LinkedIn?
Yes, I'm on Instagram. You just type in Brody Mullikin. It's all together. You could also find me on Facebook, and that's also Brody Mullikin. Also, I forgot to mention, both on Facebook and Instagram, you can find my band page by typing in Strange Days, or you can go directly to my page, and you can find it in the bio. You can, listen to my music on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Google Music, Amazon Music. It's pretty much on any music store or streaming service. All you have to do
the
is
normal
type in Strange Days. Yep.
Right.
All you have to do is type in Strange Days, Summer Red.
Okay, we've got about 20 seconds left. Maybe you can squeeze 30 here for you. Before we let you go, tell us a little bit about this next track we're going to play, In Tuned.
This track, it all goes together in a story through the album. This track is basically a story about the hard times of being away from civilization and from people that you know.
Great. Brody Mullikin, thank you for coming by. Be sure to keep in touch with us. We'd like to stay in touch with our guests and follow your careers and what's going on, and maybe help you promote tour dates and things like that. So keep in touch with us. We do want to hear from you. Thank you again for coming by. Ladies and gentlemen, Brody Mullikin.
Thank you so much.
This is In Tuned.
This room, I'm looking for a clue. All I found was me waiting here for you. Turn the page in a book of written stone. Hard to turn, but I flip that stone. I see the sun start shining in. Summer red had only just begun.
Brody Mullikin, ladies and gentlemen. You can find him all over the usual music sites and social media sites online. Check him out. As with all of our guests, check them out online. Check their music. Give them a ring. Send them an email or a message online and tell them what you think of their music, what you like or don't like. They want to hear from you, as do we. Our email is david@TheDavidBowers.com. We want to hear what you think about the show and what you'd like to hear on the show. So don't hesitate to drop us a line. And meanwhile, John Bon Jovial, don't hesitate to take us home.
Hey, folks, you did it again. You spent another perfectly good hour with us here at the David Bowers Awards, and we are grateful for it. And I just want to let you know that the David Bowers Awards is broadcast around the world from the studios of Computer Help USA in Naples, Florida, and is available for free from most of the major streaming services. You can follow the David Bowers Awards on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I almost forgot to mention it. We are also brought to you from the Valley of the Sun in Tempe, Arizona, a beautiful place. Join us next week for the David Bowers Awards, Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern on WRFC 106.3 on your FM dial. That's Rochester Free Radio in Rochester, New York. And on Blog Talk Radio, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 7 p.m. UTC, when our guests are scheduled to be the one, the only, the magnificent producer, Stuart Epps himself, that's right, and Atlas Cage, who fronts two groups, Chords of Eve and Strings of Atlas. So until next week, for the David Bowers and Nick, our marvelously geeky engineer, I am yours truly, the lovably legendary John Bon Jovial, saying we'll see you right here next week on the David Bowers Award.